Yeah. I parked at the mall. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Getting out is going to be a nightmare. Yeah, look at it. It's crazy. We'll start at 9. We'll start at 9. Like an hour behind us. Yeah. Could just be like non-stop exposure. Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's crazy. There's a better turnout here than the front. That's crazy. Did you see the literature that they're showing the kids on? It's crazy. Yeah. Like, talking about little kids like five years and up. Instead of me or you go. That too, but like they're trying to teach the little kids that, like, say I walk up to this kid, not to get scared of me. Take the time to get to know me. Don't run and scream and yell. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, exactly.
Well, have you seen that like deck of cards you have, like it's the A to Z?
Yeah.
And it's got like different cards and it's sexual.
Yeah, for each one, it's like.
Yeah, for each letter.
Back in my day, that'd be grooming. Not anymore.
That's like a predator word.
Yeah.
Because some of them, I was looking at some of the things, I'm like, these are horrific.
Yeah, it's like crazy.
Like stuff I don't even know. As a result.
I know. My daughter was saying shit, and I was like, where'd you learn that? She's like, oh, teachers were talking about it. I'm like, oh. Yeah, okay. Take it the audio's working.
Leave our kids alone! 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 Leave our kids alone!
always a reference. They're saying is being censored right now. They're blocking it. Look at this. Connect your device. I got full service. Fucking crazy, eh? noticing is that a lot of multicultural people here. The other side only has one. Look at all the people coming together, all cultures, different races. Everybody's coming together. Try to go up there. Excuse me. Sorry.
Check, check. How's everybody doing? You guys want to hear that one again? Okay.
Squeeze by you, sorry. Sorry, I'm just gonna squeeze guys by. Sorry guys. Sorry. That's an exciting. Good message. Oh yeah, I want to go up there.
We don't buy that. Be vocal. Stand for your beliefs and what you stand for.
All right, we're ready to begin the official program. I am David Creighton. You might have read my material in millennial publications. A lot of people here have seen me on Redacted lately. March will be featured on Redacted tomorrow, and I'm very happy to be here. People have asked me, why does a journalist come out in support of an event like this? Because I am a journalist, I'm not an activist. But I think there comes a time in any journalist's life where they have to take a stand. And they have to say, right is right, wrong is wrong. Second World War, there were no media on the other side fighting for the Axis. There were no media offering talking points for genocide. But today, with all of you here, with the thousands of you here, and the thousands of you coast to coast, from Vancouver to Halifax, it is evidence that the mainstream media, which has ignored this march up to now, it's evidence that the independent media
360 photo.
and the social media
Get it all.
have delivered. That's where the news is now. I can tell you that many people are not watching CBC for CNN anymore. They're not reaching out to CTV and Global for what's real. They're not reading most of the dailies to find out what's happening in this country. They're reading independent media, and most of those outlets are here today. Myself, the Rebels, the North, others that are fighting for truth in Canada, and I applaud them all today for being here. Lately, you've read a lot about how this event is supposed to be about hate. And you see people across the street suggesting the same thing. Well, you know, I have to scratch my head and I have to ask, what does loving your children have to do with hate? And you know, I've heard people say that it's far right. In fact, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is not far from us right now, getting ready for question period. He has said, if you believe that you as a parent should be raising your children and not the state, then you're far right. Everybody here was labeled and smeared as a fascist by a bunch of teachers' unions and public unions over the weekend. But let me tell you, one of the hallmarks of fascism, as anybody who understands the basics of politics can tell you, is that in a fascist regime, the children are a product and belong to the state. They no longer belong to families and their parents. The state takes over. So if there's any fascists here, they're in the Trudeau government because they believe the state should be raising. And you know, it's one of the hallmarks of authoritarianism to take away the rights of parents, and so children can tell on their parents and have them jailed. That is a hallmark of fascism, as is freedom, a lack of freedom of assembly. And we saw what happened to the Freedom Convoy 2 years ago. Another hallmark of authoritarianism is censorship and a loss of your freedom of speech. And we see what Trudeau is doing to internet censorship right now. And he's got more on the way in the fall with the online safety bill that is going to wipe out your freedom of speech on the internet, and it's going to make something called disinformation a crime. And you know what disinformation is. Anything Justin Trudeau doesn't agree with. No more silence. 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 And we are silent no more because we are saying enough is enough. And I am so proud of this event. I met Jamil El-Sheikh about 2 months ago. He came on my show on Stand on Guard to talk about this march. And I said, you think you'll get 1 million people? He says, I think we'll get 1 million people. And I think we're getting 1 million people from coast to coast. I'm proud of this. And I take my hat, I applaud Canada's Muslim community for being the organizer. Well, I'm not going to say much more because we've got a list of speakers. Some phenomenal people have come out today. But I tell you, when I read a story about this Zoom call that took place last Friday between Ontario's public unions, I said, what in the hell are these people doing? They're supposed to be paid to represent their union members. And do you know how many union members have emailed me or sent me messages on Twitter to say that these people, these union leaders, do not represent me. They do not represent Ontario parents. They do not represent Canadians. They are nothing more than LGBTQ activists pretending to be union leaders, wasting the members' money, squandering their time on political activity, and they should all be fired. But thank you, somebody who knew about that call, who was on that call, said, these people do not represent me, and I'm pulling the blanket off of this. And they did. And we are going to continue to fight back. We are going to continue to say parents have a right to raise their children. It's not just something we've done in Canada for the last 160 years. It's not something they've done in the United States for the last 250 years. It is an integral part of Western civilization for millennia. And we are not going to let Justin Trudeau and his brand of liberals change that just because he thinks identity politics is a good way to win an election. And that's all this is about.
No more silence! No more silence!
I'm trying to get up closer.
No more silence! No more silence!
Well, I'm going to pass the baton on to our first guest speaker. They have come from far and wide today to be with us, to support this march. And I tell you, I'm so proud to be up here with them because I have written their stories. A lot of these people have gone through hell for standing up for freedom, for standing up for truth, and for standing up to basic democratic values that used to be taken for granted. But we've had pastors thrown in prison.
How's the stream, guys?
We've had pastors put in solitary confinement and treated like terrorists because they preached to trekkers. And that's what they were guilty of. So it's my pleasure now to introduce Pastor Henry Hildebrand. Pastor Henry Hildebrand. He has been preaching the gospel since 1991. For decades he has served a growing flock in the town of Aylmer, Ontario. And he was thrust into the national spotlight when he refused to allow the government to declare gathering for worship in the church as non-essential after the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. And he believed that during a global crisis, it is more important than ever to offer people hope and a refuge from a troubled world. Particularly concerning to him now is the concerted attack on our children by the current government, school boards, teachers' unions, and media organizations. If we lose the battle for our children, Pastor Hildebrand says, we have lost the battle for our future and our nation. The time to stand is right now. United, shoulder to shoulder under God, to defend the most vulnerable in our communities. Pastor Hildebrand.
Just on the other side. I need the press go on the other side.
Welcome to Ottawa once again. Thank you to my good friend Camille and the Muslim community to be willing to stand up. This is our time. We were born for a time such as this. God has given our children into our hands. God has placed the parents there. It is our duty. It is our responsibility. You know why we end up in a crisis like this? It's because we have been outsourcing our duty, our care, to a godless school board and to spineless politicians. We have gathered here in Ottawa, and I hope one day we can gather here like this to celebrate a huge victory. We will, because we're standing on the truth. One day we want to celebrate here with the police and with the Toronto horse riders. We want to celebrate because we are one big human family. These people that occupy these offices around us here, especially that one, They want to divide us. They want to label us, insult us, and with veiled threats threaten us. But we reject their hate. We reject their hate speech. We are not a hateful people. We are a loving, human family, all of us. I stand here today. You know, we've come here today not as Muslims and Christians, not as immigrants and indigenous, black or white, rich or poor, left wing, right wing, it's the same bird anyway. We come here today as one human family, and I am here to stand for truth with all my brothers and sisters. Dr. Martin Luther King said many years ago, whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Our children are our children, and I came from 6 hours away because I care for our children. There are three main truths that unite us here today. In the beginning, there was God. And now I'll say something really nice. God created us male and female. I mean, that's not that hard to memorize. God created us male and female. And then, another truth that unites us here today, and that is that God has entrusted the education and care of our children to the parents. This present crisis that we are in is a result of a generation of parents outsourcing their duties to a godless state that is bent on the mutilation and destruction of our children. I just want to say what's on my heart because I love these people. I know it sounds like I'm mad, but I'm just passionate, that's it. So now, as you can tell, now is the time to reclaim our role as the primary caregiver and educator of our children. Many years ago, I was just a little boy. Malcolm X said, "A man who stands for nothing falls for anything." And I'm determined I'm not going to fall like that. I'm determined I'm going to use my voice. There was a reason why you and I were born, and I want to fulfill my purpose in life. We must demand that parental autonomy in the education of our children is fully restored. The primary step, and here comes some juicy stuff. The primary step is to fully fund independent choice in education. Our children should not have to follow the funding of the government. The government's funding must follow our children. The weaponizing of our tax dollars. I said our tax dollars. the weaponizing of our tax dollars against our families must stop now. We must go from here and continue to demand full parental choice in education, whether that is public, private, or homeschool. I homeschool my children, and I think they turn out not too bad. Here's something that I find so true. In his book, Hustling Backwards, Stephen Hargrave writes, civil governments withhold rights from their citizens which nature and humanity demand. Civil governments extend rights to their citizens which nature and humanity do not. One more, he writes, civil governments grant rights which transgress humanity while removing human rights in the name of civility. Parents determine the care and education of their children, not ungodly school boards and spineless politicians. I'm just wondering, is there a place here somewhere where our politicians could buy a spine, or how does it work? Could we get them a spine somewhere so that they can stand up for what is right? Our children were given to us by God, and we must defend them to our dying breath. We must defend them to our dying breath against indoctrination by pedophiles. We must protect them against the indoctrination by pedophiles and the mutilation by tyrants. All right, I'm just about done. Finally, our message to Mr. Trudeau, to Mr. Ford, to Mr. Legault, to our school boards, and to the teachers. Here's the message. Hands off our children! And one more thing. God bless you. I love you.
Thank you. Pastor Hildebrand. Your fight is our fight, and our fight will always be your fight. That's quite obvious. I want to introduce to you a young man who needs no introduction amongst this crowd. He's a hero. As a 17-year-old, he stood up to the Catholic school board. Doesn't sound very Catholic anymore. To defend the girls in his school in Renfrew, Ontario. He organized the walkout. He was arrested and then expelled from his school and prevented from completing grade 11. He was then arrested again by police when he was freely protesting at a transgender book reading at a local library. He is part of Save Canada, and he's standing up for Canadian and Christian values across this great land. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Alexander.
Thank you. I remember last November when I first got kicked out of school. I had left the public board, I went to the Catholic board, and I got kicked out of school. They told me that I was a threat to the students. I wasn't allowed to attend class. Anybody who was seen associating with me in my demonstration would be banned from transportation to school, and that they wouldn't be allowed on certain sports teams apparently, and they weren't given any student in good standing. So I ended up having almost 200 counter protesters come out to protest against me at my own high school. And I remember I felt like we had an issue because there was probably 800 or 900 students in that building and not one parent would say anything. Now we've had parents come forward, and now look at this right here. Look at that. I started as one 17-year-old, and now I'm surrounded by parents and young people. Look how many young people are in this crowd. They'll tell you our generation is gone, not on our watch. We've got them. We're winning. As a young person, I look out and I look to the leaders who are supposed to be the politicians, the ones that are supposed to represent us. And today, guess what? We had Jagmeet Singh walk up to me, start mouthing words at me. He made hand gestures at me, insulting me. And then on the West Block, we have Polyev hiding. He with his finger in the air, trying to decide whether it's good. Where's Polyev? Where are you, Pierre? We need to stop putting our faith in politicians. I think we've learned today that the people hold the power. Right now, we've got it. A lot of people are going to say, yeah, we got to get Trudeau out.